everyone. Good evening, and thanks for joining us. Why do we doubt so much? What is it that we have to deprogram? How can we make our dreams happen? And how does the ego fit into all of this? We're going to talk about that and much, much more tonight. So in tonight's Reawaken You,
Yeah.
I had a friend. There we go. We have our great sound effects. I had a great post from a friend of mine the other day on Facebook, and he was talking about how he was stuck in traffic. And he said, "So I'm sitting here stuck in traffic, and I had a choice. I could be like, grr, I'm stuck in traffic. I'm going to be late." He said, instead I chose to say, "Wow, I'm grateful. I own a car. This car is going to be able to get me to work and a job that pays my bills, that allows me to live in a nice house." And so instead of going into complaining mode, he switched into gratitude and was able to take advantage and enjoy being stuck in traffic. So this week, I want you to look, are you in gratitude or are you complaining? And can you catch yourself in the moment and switch to gratitude and make a difference in your day? All right, we're going to tell you about tonight's guest. Dr. Jen Royster, Doctor of Divinity, is an internationally known intuitive counselor, spiritual teacher, energy healer, and visionary. She holds several degrees, including Doctor of Divinity, Ordained Spiritual Minister, MS in Metaphysics, and Reiki Master. Jen is well known for innovative styles and intuitive reads, energy healing, spiritual crisis support and guidance, Akashic Records reads, soul retrieval, and support for empaths. Her work with empaths has gained respect with many medical doctors and psychologists who refer patients to her for spiritual counseling when clinical routes show no results. As a visionary, Jen has always seen energy healing as ultimate advancement humanity has been searching for in healthcare, and that there is hope for the future of humanity through choice. Her live workshops, webinars, and lectures include intuitive development, energy healing, life of an empath, connecting with angels and spirit guides, deprogramming the doubt, manifesting your dreams, the eighth chakra and intuition, channeling, and intuitive painting. Welcome back, Jen.
Hi, Julie. It's wonderful to be back, and hello to you, and congratulations on your upcoming wedding.
Thank
So
you.
I just was happy to hear that for you. It's wonderful to be back.
We're very excited, and we had Jen on and did an intuitive counseling, and she was so great. I said, "Come on back, and what can you talk to us about?" So I'm really excited about tonight, Jen, because so many of us doubt, and I think it's such an important subject to talk about and really tackle. So why do we doubt so much?
You know, it comes down to what we believe. We believe in what we're doubting. We actually are believing it. It could be we're believing something that we were taught when we were children, that's the way it is, that's it. We can't go past those boundaries. And what my passion is with this topic is to show people that, well, are you believing what somebody else believes for you? Or do you believe that you have something different that you want to offer to the world? Do you have a passion that you just suppress and you don't let it out because you feel like, well, I can't because they said I can't do it? And that's doubt. You're second guessing, and you don't believe that it's possible for you. And when you change that, you've changed everything. I call that, what does a miracle feel like? And people go, what is that? And I go, what does a miracle feel like? A miracle is when you start to believe in something different, and then you start to see it come into your life. And it can be as simple as a career change, or I never thought I would find somebody for me, like in a relationship, and now you find yourself in it, and you're like, well, how did this happen? You start to shift it. You start to really believe that it's possible for you. And you could change your whole life just by shifting what you believe in. So I'm very passionate about that.
I think it's really important. It was interesting when I first moved out to Los Angeles. I'll never forget, I met a woman and she was giving me a massage, and she talked about how she wanted to be an actress, but someone's like, "You'll never make it. You're too whatever,
Yeah.
it was, ugly, thin, fat, whatever it was." And she bought into that. And she said, "That was my biggest mistake, and I regret that." So how do we, I guess first I want to know, how do we know when it's our voice or someone else's voice that's talking to us? Because I think sometimes We think it's ourselves talking to us, but maybe it was something we were taught in childhood and forgotten, or something our parents always told us. How do we know to tell the difference?
That's a really good question, and uh, let me phrase it this way. I know that for myself, I can use an experience that I've had. Um, I never believed this is powerful for me. So, and this is a simple thing. I mean, we're not talking about when we talk about miracles. We see where people survive and miraculously cure from cancer and things like that. Wow. But there's also the everyday miracles that people miss. And for example, for me, my entire life, I never believed I could run. I never believed I could actually run. I was a sprinter. I was a dancer, ballet, the whole thing. When you're a child, you're going to 50 million classes for something. I was an athlete. I had injuries. And in my left foot, I have a lot of stress fracture injuries from where I was an overachiever, the perfectionist. And I never believed I could run because there was all these things going on. That one joint in that foot in my left side just doesn't want to bend that way, and it would cause a lot of pain. So here I've got all this going on. Now that I'm older, of course, you really feel that sometimes. I'm thinking, I can't run. And I do a lot of meditation, and I do a lot of connection with spirit. I do a lot of intuitive reads and deliver messages from angels to people. And one day I was doing it for myself. I go, how may I serve? I ask that every day. How may I serve this world? And they said, we want you to start running. And I had an argument with my guardian angel on this. I go, are you kidding me? No, this is true. This is a true story. I said, are you kidding me? I can't run. I can't run. Look at my foot. They went, we want you to start running, and we want you to believe in it, that you can. I said, you got to be kidding me. So I thought, how am I going to get past this? And this is key to what we're talking about tonight. You have a left brain mental body, an energy of the mind, the thought, and it is very structured in the programming like a computer. It operates on what it's programmed with. And your right brain is where you create new things, new programs, new ideas. Well, a lot of times we argue and self-doubt and second guess what is new. We fight it because we don't know it. The program doesn't know, well, this isn't how we've always done it. Well, I was doing the same thing. My left brain's going, you got to be kidding me. I could not run. I'm going to tell you right now, yesterday I ran 30 minutes straight. Yesterday, I ran 30 minutes straight. I started 8 weeks ago. I started doing a run 1 minute, walk 1 minute, run 1 minute, walk 1 minute. I did it for 30 minutes. I thought, to my left brain, I can do that. I can do 60 seconds. Now, when I first started doing this, guys, I've always been an athlete, and I've done the P90X and everything else. But running, oh my gosh, that just seemed impossible. But it wasn't. It was not impossible when I did it this way. I tricked my left brain and eased it into it. And this is how you can overcome things that you don't think you can do. You can gradually just take little steps in that. So this is an example of that. So every week I increased it. The next week I did 2 minutes, walk 1 minute. The next week I did 3 minutes, walk 1 minute. When I got up to 11 or 12, I'm thinking, I don't feel tired enough to stop and walk for a minute. So I kept going. And yesterday I was literally at this point where I just want to see how far I can go. I went the whole thing. And I talked myself right through it. When I felt the doubt coming in, like, you should stop and walk, I went, I don't feel like I need to stop. It was literally this argument going between my right and left brain. But I use this as an example because not everybody wants to go out and start running. But for me, it showed me that if I can do something that I never believed I could ever do in my whole life, then I can do anything that I choose to do. I can be whatever it is that I want to do. I can bring my passions into this lifetime. I can share them with the world. I do not have to second guess and doubt anymore. So my running simultaneously walks with what my next goal is, what I'm doing. Like right now, I'm writing a book. So that won't probably be out till next year, but I'm working on that. And it's a big thing when I've got so many things going on. The running has become a way I connect with spirit and get more inspiration and more enthusiasm and more confidence. Somebody else might want to do it a different way, but I just said, you know what is it that I don't believe I can do, and let me prove to myself that I can. And I'm doing it. And I actually have no pain. My foot's better, my body's happier. And I can't believe I'm doing it either, but then I can believe it. And then I start to change those words that I use. It's not I can't believe it. I can believe it. I am doing it. So that's an example of how you can shift it.
I want to let everyone know, if you have a question for Dr. Jen, call us at 919-518-9773 or Computers 2K Voice. So what is the smoke screen? What is you're talking left and right brain here, but what's the little stinker that's our smoke screen that gets us off track?
That's that ego side of us that we call in spiritual terms. We have ego, we have higher self, and higher self is really our true self, our true essence of who we really are. And then we have our ego side, and it's not egotistical when we say ego. It's more the personality of who we are, and it is related more to the left brain thinking, the analyzer, the processing, the logic, and it can be the critical thinker. It can be the complainer, and the ego. We don't want to bash the ego. We want to say you're the bad guy. It's not the bad guy, but it can argue a lot because it doesn't trust. And that ties into it. It's like we're not trusting something we don't know that's already programmed. And so when something new comes in, how many times do you see people, whether it's in a government or in your own life, you resist that new, like, I don't know, I'd love to do that, but I don't know, because you haven't tried it yet. So the ego, the ego's talking when you feel like, I don't know. But if you can't get it out of your mind and you just know that you want to go there, you just feel so magnetically pulled to try something different, your higher self is calling you to pull you in a different direction. I like to recommend that, like for myself, when I feel that, and we all feel it, even if I'm talking about it right now, it's not that I don't feel this. I let my ego side cell express itself. Like, hey, I know you're freaking out, but we're going to try it different. I mean, I go objective into third person, and I just say, we're going to do this anyway because we have new potential that we want to explore. We're going to be fine. And I just talk to it and calm it down. I calm it down, and then I do it anyway. Some people don't want to do that. They don't even want to try. They just say, nope, not doing it because I don't know it already. And that is the smoke screen. It talks you out of it.
So what are some of the things, can you maybe give some examples that are a little bit subtle that the ego might be doing and that we're not realizing? We think, well, maybe that's my higher self telling me not to do it, when in actuality it's the ego.
Let me see. For example, when you want to, say you're in a job or even a relationship that isn't working, and you want to go into a new one, and you want to start looking somewhere else. A lot of times the ego will say, you just need to stay where you are because the money's good, everything's safe, everything's fine. Okay, it talks to you in a logical voice, and I'm not saying throw logic out the window here. What we want to do is allow new exploration to grow into new areas of your life and keep logic in place. So you're going to find that it's going to be afraid, it's going to be negative to something that you're probably very excited to want to, and you want to try. The way you can calm it down is like I was talking about with the running, little baby steps. Well, I'm not changing jobs. I'm not quitting. Let me just look and explore and see what's out there. You see? Let me just try. I mean, I'm not going to quit until I have something else. And that calms the ego down. It's like you're calming down this panicker, right? That is what will happen very much with the ego. So it tries to talk you out of trying something new. And that's first key because it has a fear that just kicks in. And fear just will stop you dead in your tracks. And then you don't grow. And now you're staying in your job because the ego wanted you to and it's happy, but are you? Because your higher self is who you really are. Your ego is just your personality while you're here on earth.
So you say, I love this, that our soul path is aligned with our soul purpose. So how do we begin to switch to let our higher self run the show?
Mm-hmm.
And how do we build a relationship with our higher self? I was talking about this the other day. I did a talk for the first time in front of some business women on reawakening their brilliance. And so one of the things, I had to take away was to start building that relationship with your intuition. And someone was like, well, how do you do that? And I said, well, it's like anything else, whether it's organizing or writing a book, you commit to doing something daily. But talk a little bit about that.
Okay. And your question was,
so
I'm sorry, I lost the question in there.
Okay.
My co-host is actually barking in the background, so I'm sorry. That's my co-host of my show.
That's good. The dogs add live entertainment. When I'm at the studio, we have Amnon's dogs there, so it's all good. So
all right.
how do we let our higher self run the show, and how do we build a relationship with our higher self?
Well, obviously, and you've heard it a million times, the best way to do that is to allow yourself some quiet time with meditation. And first thing out the door with that is the ego is like, I can't quiet my mind. I can't sit still. I can't do this for 5 minutes. That's ego talking because it doesn't want to sit still and be quiet and listen. Okay, now you know who's running it with that. Connecting with higher self is all you need is that intention. You need the intention that you want to. And start with a minute or two of just sitting quietly, not trying to think or process or solve a problem. It will be short and quick at the beginning because the ego won't like it. It's going to feel squirmy and uncomfortable. And some people say, I just can't meditate. I can't meditate. Meditation really is truly the best way to listen. I recommend active meditation for that. And active meditation could be anything that you enjoy doing where you just lose track of time. That's active meditation. All of a sudden, 5 hours has passed and you're like, oh my gosh, I forgot to eat. I forgot to do. You're in an active meditation because you're lost in your passion. So whether it's gardening, for me, it's painting. For me, walking or painting. But everybody has something that they really enjoy. Some people like tinkering and remodeling cars and rebuilding old engines, things like that. Those are active meditations. So for people that have the hyperactive mind, you have to let it spin out. And that does go into meditation. And start with short amount of time. But it's being okay with the quiet. Being okay with in between jobs, being okay with in between relationships, being comfortable with just being with you, that's where you're going to get to know who you really are. And most people don't want that. They avoid that at all costs. That's the ego running the show, and that's how you'll know.
What if our higher self tells us something that doesn't make any sense? Should we follow it? What's going on there?
I love that question. I love that question because that's exactly how it's going to feel. It's going to feel like, are you kidding me? Like, it told me to run. Are you insane? I'm like, what? Run? Well, it will tell you things that feel out of the comfort zone is bottom line. Out of the comfort zone is where we learn and where we grow and where we explore. We develop new things for ourselves and our path. Ego, like I said earlier, it runs on that programming. It runs on what's already installed. And it's not going to create something new. So when you're on something, when you are desiring something new, you have to know that you're going to feel out of the comfort zone a little bit because you don't know it yet. It's new. You're never going to know it. It's new. And that's the whole point. You're creating something new. So it will feel uneasy, but if you feel peace and excitement like a child, it's your higher self saying, you want to go this way. And that's how you can trust it. For me, it's that peace and what puts a smile on my face that I can't get rid of. You're trying to calm down and you feel like you're 10 and you're so excited. Allow that, because that energy is what's driving you to make you more of what you can really be. And we have to go out of our comfort zone into new territory to do that.
Absolutely. So how do we align our ego, soul purpose, and the divine?
Well, it's a simple answer, and then it's more of an argument with the ego, I guess, because you simply have the intention and the desire and ask for that. Literally ask for that. Every day I ask for that. How may I serve and align with divine purpose? I ask that every day. I ask it at least once a day, sometimes more than that. That has never failed me, and then it's allowing an open-mindedness to the things that are going to come in after that. For example, I needed something to line up, like I was looking for something in particular. I'm just trying to be general here, just to give you an example. And so I said, how may I serve? I'm trying to figure this out. So I'm asking for my request. We do a lot of asking. We do a lot of asking in our prayers. Asking is step number 1. Step number 2 is receive. We have to be quiet and listen to receive. We have to go into that mode and allow it to come back. If we keep talking, we're not listening. Okay? And so that comes in. And step 3 would be gratitude and thank you. So I call it the 1, 2, 3 on that. But a lot of people stay in step 1. They keep asking and they keep asking. Well, they might not have heard me. Let me ask again. Actually, they heard you the first time. You just need to go to step 2 and and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. So when you're aligning with the divine, you are aligning with your soul purpose, because your higher self is that aspect, that piece of the higher divine. You are a piece of that. So if you're aligning with your higher self, you are aligning with divine. And it all just falls into play. You feel peace. And the best part about it is it feels so simple. It feels so uncomplicated. It feels so the whole time you felt like you were trying so hard. You were just going through all these complicated steps, and it's not really complicated at all. It's very simple. And it feels very peaceful and calming. So then you're on the right track. When it just feels peacefulness here in your heart. Because you're going to be making choices from here, not here.
I think that's really important. And that's something I've tried to switch in making choices from the heart and not the head. And when I follow the heart, I tend to not get in trouble. When I first met my fiance, there were a couple things I think in the past I just would have probably written him off, not seen it through, but I kept going back to my heart. Well, what do you think? And my heart was like, you got to keep going with this. Go for this. We've got someone great here. And it ended up being the best thing. He's the best person for me. But I listened to my heart, whereas my ego and my head could have said, oh, no, blah, 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 blah.
Right. Exactly. I actually experienced that with my husband, because when we had a first go around when we were like back in high school, and I was like, nah, and then I was married for 20 years to somebody else. That ended, and he comes back into my life, and I'm thinking, why is he's back in my life? And I'm thinking, I don't know, because now after 20 years, I want to make sure I don't make a mistake, or, you're hesitating. And the more I just quit trying to analyze it and go with my heart, the more it has been absolutely the most beautiful thing ever. So I hear you, and I really relate to what you're saying with that, Julie. So if you're connecting with your heart is going to take you to where your higher self wants to take you, where the analytical mind is a little bit more connected to the ego side. And it has logic, it has reason. It's about the physical world. And like I said, it has good reason to be there. It's not like it's the bad guy, but it has limited thinking, so to speak. It doesn't understand new things when you're trying to create something new. So that's where it'll trip you up. So when there's something new coming in, that's when it can act up. But other than that, hey, it tells you to put a coat on when it's cold outside, right?
Right. It has its purpose. It definitely has.
That's right.
Now, I want to remind everyone, if you have a question for Dr. Jen, chat it, and I'm happy to ask, or you can call in at 919-518-9773 or Skype in at Computers 2K Voice. So what key affirmation do we need to change?
Ooh, there's a lot of those. There's a lot of those. Think about how you speak every day. I tell people that I'm working with in private sessions or workshops, how are you talking every day? Are you saying I can't? Or that's impossible? Or are you already, because an affirmation is what you're claiming and believing. So you can say, I am successful, or I can't do that. Those are both affirmations. Both of those are affirmations, but they have very different energies to them. One of them just, that's it, nothing's going to happen. The other one has unlimited possibility. So you're looking for the energy that is doubting or canceling out. Like, I can't, or that will never happen to me. I mean, what are you affirming? Oh, I should have done this or that. That has a guilt energy, and it's a low frequency as well. Should is a guilt, kind of a guilt attached. I should have done this. I should have done that. Release that and let it go. So when you find that you're talking in a negative way, like complaining, or I can't, or it won't, or this isn't going to happen for me, you're looking to completely reverse it to the opposite. And you may not believe it at first. You may not. I didn't believe I could run. I didn't believe I could run. And now I believe I can run because I went the baby steps in half, and I showed it was more like my higher self was proving to the side that didn't believe, which is in the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, where the programming is. You're trying to show it. No, you're just gradually showing, yes, we can try this. So do a little bit at a time. It'll feel safer to the ego. It'll be smoother, be a little bit easier on you. Because if you just try to go crash, boom, bah, go, it's going to buck up. And it's going to talk you out of it. It's going to try its best. So it just depends on how bumpy you want that to go. But it doesn't have to be bumpy. You can just say, let's just try a little at a time. Let's just test it out. And then you do it, and you give yourself permission to try something new, and it will allow you to. It sounds crazy, but it's like a trap. It's kind of like the trap door of the mind, but it's our own mind, and it's something we want to change within ourselves. It's nobody manipulating you. It's nobody trying to talk you into anything. It's you trying to truly change things that you want for yourself. Because some of that programming was maybe when you were a little kid, you were told never do that because this is the way we do it. Well, that was great then, but maybe that's not working for you so much right now. Maybe, think about it. If you were to do the same things you did if you lived at the North Pole and then you moved to the tropics, makes no sense, right? Gee, that's really going to help to put that fur coat on, right? So it's things like that, and I'm making fun of it because that's really what it's like. But when we're living it and we're believing that thought, and what if you're worried about what everybody thinks? Are you worried about what everybody else thinks, even though that's not what you want for yourself? And so you're just people pleasing. people want to know who you really are. And even though they buck at first, it's not being afraid to be who you really are. I did that for a long time in my life. I hid who I was for a long time because I was afraid. And I have lived all that. And I have to say, if I had to do it all over again, no, I would not hide who I was, because I feel better now than I ever did in my whole life because I'm being who I really am. Doesn't matter whether you like it or not, because I'm not here for everybody. I'm here to do what I'm supposed to do. And just like you are, Julie, and just like everybody else is listening to this right now, there's something that they hide deep inside that they really would love to be able to do, but they don't believe they can. And they absolutely can. And you can take half steps. What if it is something like, I really want to go on a vacation to the tropics or whatever, for example, and some people are like, well, I never can afford it. Well, then go just start looking at it and window shopping for a while. Keep your energy there. Bring that kind of vibe into your house. And you start living that energy, and believe it or not, one day you're probably going to be down there. So it can happen for anybody. And it's taking the small steps, not just one big leap and instant gratification. A lot of people think instant gratification in this crazy fast world, they want it to go now, fast, fast, fast. And take it one step at a time and gradually go there. And you'll find that it's just a natural path.
Do you think that our level of awareness or consciousness affects whether or not we doubt more or less?
That would be, the way I see that is what reality we're living in. I call that like a reality. You are going to believe and see the reality that you're in. If you focus on all the things that are wrong, that's what you're going to see all around you. You're going to see, that's not right. They're not doing this right. This is happening. Why did that dog poo on my lawn again? You know, the whole thing. You're going to just see it. But if you're focusing on away from that and you're focusing on positive things, you're going to see more of that. And it shifts the reality you actually live in. People go, how do I wrap my brain around that? I've tested this. I've tried this, and it really does work. You can take that energy for 48 hours, 2 or 3 days, do a test for a week, and put that focus in a certain area and see what you get. Go ahead and focus on a dog pooing in your yard and see how many dogs will poo in your yard. You're going to be surprised. Oh my gosh. Or you could do it to something more pleasant, like something else. I've worked with this with my plants in my garden, and they actually respond to it. They do. I've worked with animals with this. I've worked with people. I've worked in my own life. When I start feeling negative about something, I start to shift it and find something over there. And when you first do it, you're feeling like, oh, I'm just making it up. But you're not. You're starting to embark into something to shift it. As soon as you start to think, I want it to be different, you're already shifting it. And it's a matter of how much time you spend on that. And the more you spend on that, the more it shifts quickly. And it can move fast. It can be amazing. I think I answered your question.
Yeah, you do. I think you did, absolutely.
Okay, because it's so much. I'm very passionate about this because I've seen it work so many times over and over and over. If I want to change something in my life, I just decide to do it now. I just, just some people that are more critical thinking, they think, well, that's not how it's always been done. We've always done it this way. Well, you know what? Don't tell me that twice, because I'm going to try something else. I'm that way. I can't help it. I love that part about me, and I'm not critical about that part anymore, because that's the part that helps me find new territory and new things in life that I always wanted to explore. And then I get over there, and maybe some of it I like and some of it I don't. Most of it I like a lot, so I keep it. Some of it is like, okay, I tried that, but let me go try something else. I've done that too. And that's okay. You don't have to be perfect at it. Just don't be afraid to explore life and explore your dreams. Most people talk themselves out of their dreams.
I think that's so true. It's interesting with this show. I would have never, I was always like to write. I still like to write. I was a behind the scenes person that fit my personality more. And then someone suggested to me, do a show on Amnon's network. And I'm like, okay. And then I thought, well, I don't want to do it on green and organizing or enough. I'm like, oh, but I'm really passionate about body, mind, spirit stuff. Let me do this. And then in meditation, I heard Reawaken Your Brilliance. And I love this. I absolutely love it. But if you would have told me even 5 years ago, you'd be in front of the camera and you'd have your face out there, no way. I'm a behind the scenes person. And so just by allowing and being open to it, like you're talking about, I discovered something I'm passionate about.
That actually, and I so hear you. That actually happened with me with radio, because I'm an artist. I mean, I'm talking to you at my art studio area, but radio was something where I just started amateur radio, and I just wanted to let people know what I was about and how I could help them. And now I'm on a huge network that's now in a regular radio station, WBLQ, up in Westerly, Rhode Island, and it broadcasts over 300 networks now. That happened since I've talked to you, Julie, and it's huge. And I'm thinking, how did I just get into radio? I mean, it just kept going. Now the radio is its own thing, and it lives. See, your show, it lives on its own, right? And we can relate to each other with that. But it's because I just let it keep going gradually and go into that. And it keeps taking me to another step. And the people that I have met doing this has been amazing. Like, I've met you doing this, and I just feel like, wow, I would have never been where I am today if I hadn't have just allowed it to keep growing. So it was like this little plant in the garden that just decided to take over. And it just keeps growing because you're just naturally falling into it, right? Mm-hmm. With your show. Yeah, your show has grown a lot, and congratulations to you for that. So I think that's wonderful.
Oh, thank you. One of the things I love that you recommend is journaling. So can you share with people why you recommend that? And is there a time that you believe is best for us to journal?
Yeah, okay. Couple of things on that. Journaling is important, because the reason I suggest that is when people have pent up emotions, or they're caught up, or they can't forgive, or they can't let it go, or they have anger stuck in it. Anger is it has its moments, and it's not like we all have emotions. Anger's one of them. It's not like it's the bad guy, like ego, so to speak, but it's not supposed to stay with you forever either. We're supposed to let it move on. And people will shut down their hearts when they're hurt or betrayed, and then they won't let it go, and then they never open it back up so love can come back in, whether it's a relationship, romantic, or just divine love, just feeling happy. Journaling helps because you're getting that mental energy, that mind chatter, and you're using the energy of your hand, whether it's on a computer or a pen or paper, and you're getting it out of here onto paper. So you're bringing it out of here, and you're putting it into a physical form on a piece of paper. And then I tell them, just rip that puppy up, burn it, get rid of it. It helps people get it out of here and get rid of it. And like I tell people a lot of times, do that with a full moon, because a full moon's releasement. Get rid of it. That's a time of releasement. And a new moon is when we're going to have something new come in, so you can work with those energies, so to speak. And it's not that it's this magical hocus pocus. It has an effect. You can just feel it, and you just go with that energy and work with it with intention. The intention of your thoughts is where you're going. The intention of every thought has power. So you're wanting to make the intention of every thought what you really want. So if there's thoughts in there that are holding you up, journal them and get rid of them. Some people will find that they'll journal and they'll see amazing things come out that they want to keep. Okay, keep that part. If it's coming out, the stuff they want to get rid of, that's the stuff you want to rip up, tear up, burn, get rid of. Just get rid of it. Don't keep it. And I know that a lot of people will journal and then they just try to keep it and then they want to read it over and over. They're keeping it. They're staying attached to it. No, that's not the point. You want to get rid of it. If you want to get rid of it, you'll get rid of it. So some people have to come to a point where they really are ready to let go and they're not ready to let go, and they'll learn what they're not ready to let go of. I do it with painting. I just sit in front of a blank canvas. I think I've told you that before. And that's what the horse is, somewhere over here behind me. He's over there. And I'll just go. And instinctively, I'm not planning to paint anything. So you can journal that way if you're an artist. I've worked with artists in private sessions, and they said, oh my gosh, this just explodes and it just opens all of it up. It just gets rid of the block. It flows. And what you're doing is you're putting the energy here onto the canvas so it can reflect back and show you what's going on in there, so to speak. It's a very therapeutic. So you can write it, or you can paint it, or you can do it in any other format. Some people do it with music. Some people do it with gardening. Writing is a simple form that everybody can do. And it can help you see what's going on in there that's clogging everything up, because now it's reflecting back to you and you can see it. So it's kind of like a mirror to you. It's very therapeutic and it's very personal. And it's not for everybody to read. It's just for you. And then you get rid of it. Let it go. So that's why I recommend journaling.
And during the new moon, which I think would be a great thing, at least once a month, even if you can start that practice of being aware of what your thoughts are, that's really important. Now, do you have anything? I have in my notes here. What do you recommend we do during a full moon? We've talked about the new moon. We just had a big blue moon on Thursday, or last Thursday, I think. What do we do during a full moon?
Well, the full moon is when you would do the journaling and what I call the vomiting all over the paper and getting it out. I mean, just vomit all over the paper and get it out. I know I'm very shock factor with my words, but it's the truth. That's what you're doing. You're purging this out and you're getting rid of it. That's the full moon, because the full moon is getting rid of all old energy. It's time to release and get rid of. The new moon is when you're bringing in something new. That would be when you want to focus on a new path, something new that you're wanting to bring in. So when a full moon comes in, and you can actually work with that energy a week or two before and after the moon, because it starts to build before, and then you have wow in the sky, Definitely that's when you want to get rid of something old. So that's the full moon. New moon is the new things, the new beginnings. And Archangel Haniel, by the way, if you really want to work with moon energy, work with Archangel Haniel. Ask Haniel, it's Haniel, to help you with that, because she works with those energies of the moon. So that would be something else I could throw out there that could help you. But Haniel is very good if you would like to work with the moon cycles. If you feel that the moon cycles affect you a lot. There's a few people. I know. Who out there turns into something, No, if you feel that you're affected by the different cycles of the moon, Archangel Haniel can help you with that, because there's revelation in that. That might be that you're very sensitive and you're very intuitive, and it's more fine-tuning that intuition that you're picking up. It's not a hindrance. It's more understanding what it is you're feeling.
Fantastic. And I've typed that in, Archangel Haniel, for people who want to explore more on that and want to work with the moon. I didn't know that. So that's why I love doing this show. I learn something new every time I interview anyone. Another thing that you talk about that I really like is you say it's important for us to take time for ourselves. Why?
Because you have to honor who you are as a special being in this world. I mean, you have a place. You have a place, and a lot of times we avoid honoring and respecting our own self. So if you take a few minutes a day just to do something, it's funny, my publicist always asks me, she'll ask me that every day I'm talking to her. What did you do good for yourself? She does. She'll ask me that. I'm thinking, why is she asking me that? I teach this all the time, but she's asking me. She's checking on me. And she'll say, what did you do good for yourself? What are you going to do for yourself? And she's right. And I want to say thank you to her for that, because we all have to do that each day. Our lives can be very busy, and mine is too, but you want to take time for you because you want to honor who you are and give yourself a chance to breathe, take a breath, go, okay, I had a moment. It's also a self-love, because we cannot receive love. A lot of people with relationships, they want to know why they can't find love. Well, have you given yourself 5 minutes in a day to give yourself a self-love? And we learn how to receive love by starting right here with us, with our own self. So it's very important. It's very important to your happiness, your health, your prosperity, because love is what you want to receive in. And you can only do that if you're allowing it and you're giving it to yourself first. So that's why I say you want to have a moment to yourself, because that's what that's for. It's an honor to who you are and why you're here.
That's fantastic. Is there a short meditation or exercise you could lead us in? And I'm telling people, if this is recorded, if we do something, so if you're listening on the radio and driving, you can watch it again when you're home. Don't want you to do anything, but maybe something you do that could benefit people that they might be able to do.
We can. How much time do we have?
We have about 12 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that. If you are in a good place where you can close your eyes and just take a deep breath in and feel your breath. Just acknowledge that you have life, because you breathe in and you release out. And think about, I'm going to take you there for a moment. Think about what you're doubting. Think about what you're frustrated with. Yeah, I know. Think about it. No, we're going to embrace it. We're going to embrace it. We're going to think about it. We're going to think about what it is that's causing the doubt for you. What are you feeling discouraged about? Think about it, acknowledge it, and I want you to visualize that you have a box in front of you. Just a box. I don't care how big it is. I can hear people out there going, I don't know, what size? Just it doesn't matter, whatever box you want. And I want you to lift the lid of the box, and I want you to take those thoughts, those frustrations, those things that are holding you back that you want to change, and I want you to put them in the box and shut the lid. And while you're doing this, you're just going to take a deep breath. It's okay. Put the lid down. If it's trying to lift, put a book on top of it, something heavy, anything. Oh, I'm not kidding. These are the thoughts that come in. Well, it's trying to come back out. You can find a way to keep it in there. Put a lock on it. And I want you, when you take a breath in, I want you to have this moment with all those concerns in the box, not bothering you right now. When you take a breath in, embrace those dreams. Embrace what you want to be, what you see in your dreams that you want to have in your life. I want you to visualize it. Think about it in detail. What are you wearing? Do you have warm sunshine glowing all around you? Are you outside, inside? Do you live in the north? Do you live in the south? What is your life like? Look at the details. Look down and see what your shoes are. Look at the furniture around if you're in a room. If you're in an office, what do you see? Do you see yourself in this life that you truly want? And go into detail as much as possible. completely embrace this, that this is your life. And on the out breath, I want you to visualize that just all negative talk, all doubt, all second guessing is going out with the out breath like a toxic smoke. Just let it go. Just when it goes out, let it go right out. And then on another breath, I want you to just slow down and feel peacefulness. Feel peacefulness. And now I want you to turn all the way around, turn all the way around to where you're facing the opposite direction, and visualize that you see that you're at the river's edge. You see a river and you see a bank on the other side. And you see a person on the other side, but you can't quite make out who it is. And you're curious. And you see a boat, a rowboat. So get in the boat and take it across the river. And when you get to the other side, that person is still there. Still not quite sure who it is. You're going to get out of the boat. You're going to walk toward the person. The person's waiting for you, just standing there waiting. And as you get closer, you start smiling and you start grinning and you start feeling so relieved and very excited because you realize that you're seeing you. It is your higher self. You have gone over and you're going to meet your higher self. And it's like you're meeting your higher self, almost like a future self. And you see yourself separate from it. But it's not separate, it's you, but you're seeing. And I want you to ask this higher self, how can I achieve my dreams? How can I get there? Can you show me? And then I want you to think that you're merging with the higher self. The two of you are becoming one, like you're blending. And now I want you to feel and see that you are that higher self. And just embrace that you do know how to get there. It's already in there. You're going to receive this information in steps along the way. Each day, another thought, another idea, and you will find your way to it. And feel the positiveness that comes from being with the higher self, because that's all it is. It's going to be the highest part of you. It's going to be that amazing energy that you absolutely love. And just say thank you. Say thank you for, get back in the rowboat. Now, yep, we got to go back. You got to take this back with you, okay? I know you want to stay over there. It's all woo. But we're going to get back in the boat. We're going to get back in the boat. We're going to go back to our reality, back to our life. But we're going back to our life, taking the information with us and gaining what we received from taking that moment to just be with our higher self. And you can do this every day. You can just say, show me, talk to me, let me connect, let me just feel that energy of being melded with you. And that's how you can do it. And when you get back to the side, back to your reality, and you open your eyes and you wake up and you're out of the boat, you're back in your life, you're looking around, yep, everything's the same the way it was, but you're smiling and you know that you can change it. And you can do it one day at a time, one step at a time, half step at a time if you want, and you can do it. And just say thank you to your higher self. Thank you for connecting and being with me. Whenever you feel doubt or frustration, always ask angels or God or the universe to just bring you that extra support, and they will. And they will bring a physical sign to you if you ask. You have to ask. People don't realize that I didn't ask for a physical sign. Ask for a physical sign. They'll give you a physical sign that you're okay. It's going to be fine. I lost my wedding ring a couple of weeks ago, and it broke my heart. I still can't find it. I know it's in the house somewhere. I've asked them to help me with it. I think it's in the house somewhere. And out of the random blue, I see this picture come up when I was looking at news stories where this woman in Sweden lost her wedding ring 16 years ago and found it around a carrot that grew in her garden. I went, well, what are the odds? That's a synchronicity. What are the odds that I would see a story about somebody finding their wedding ring? And I went, oh my goodness. Well, I didn't get out of that, oh, I'm not going to find it for 16 years. That's literal. I got out of that they said, it's not lost. You just haven't found it yet. And she never lost hers. She just didn't know where it was. So one of these days I'm going to find my ring. So, and I took that as thank you for letting me know that you heard my request on that. So just know that everything's possible. Nothing's impossible. It's only what you believe is impossible that will be impossible. So if you believe it's possible, then it's possible.
Now, Jen, what advice would you have for someone who's really struggling right now? Maybe they're just, lost their job in the middle of divorce, just in a really tough time. What would you say to them?
First, they need to know that they need to surround themselves with positive support. I mean, sometimes in those situations, and those are tough, I've been there. I know what that can feel like. If you're surrounding yourself with something that's going to be more negative and attacking, or it's always somebody else's fault, that's not going to help you. I would recommend find a support niche or group or friends, even if it's just one person, or even if you've just got to go and find a group out there that is more positive in what's for you. You need positive support to lift you up and out, because you're down in a frequency that's pulling at you and causing you to feel sadness and heartbreak. You are healing and you're grieving, and you want to allow that, but at the same time, you want positive support. You can have all the negative, angry people that want to go burn somebody's house down because they hurt you and all that. That is not going to help you one bit. That's just going to fuel more negative. So I would say surround yourself with people that really, truly want to lift you. And if they're not lifting you, limit your exposure to that.
Fantastic. Now, I love the meditation. I can't wait to listen to the show again so I can
That's one of my
do it and not have to worry about interviewing you. But what one step can people take right after the show, before they go to bed or tomorrow morning, to reawaken their brilliance?
You know what? Say thank you. Say thank you that you are here and that you have a purpose and that you're excited to embrace it, and ask the universe, how may I serve? Because when you do it that way, and it's not about how can I make money, honestly, that's when you will be financially supported. Because when you get aligned with that, you don't have to worry about that part. Just ask every day, how may I serve? It's going to feel good, and you're going to find that you're going to absolutely love your life. And you're going to see every day that you can do something else to make this place a better world and a more positive, loving energy out there to heal it.
I love that. I'm going to start doing that when I wake up and ask how I can serve today. I think that's a great way to start your day and frame of mind to get into. Now, tell us about Good Stuff, how people can find out more information, your radio show, upcoming classes. Tell us about all that stuff.
Everything is on my website. That's JennRoyster.com, JennRoyster.com. It's oyster with an R in front of it. That's always really trips people up, but it's JennRoyster.com. The radio show is live. Actually, we're every Thursday morning at 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Those links are on the website. So tomorrow morning we have a live show. They're all podcasted. We have workshops that'll be coming up in the fall. We have a big student section of our site that's being built right now. So as soon as I know when that's finished, I'm kind of waiting on the ITs to finish that. We'll be launching some workshop dates. But we have a workshop on deprogramming the doubt and working that out. We're going to be doing that. We have the 8 chakra workshop we're going to offer again. And we also have an intuitive painting workshop we'll be doing soon, which people love that one. But the deprogramming the doubt is a big one that is people need right now because they've been going through so much with transition. So, but JenRoyster.com has everything. My show is on transformationtalkradio.com, and it's also aired on WBLQ.net if they want to listen that way. If they're up in the Northeast, they'll hear it in their cars. It's on regular, it's coming right out of a regular radio station. So, but I'm just out there. I'm out there for you. I'm here to help you. You can go to the website and see it all right there.
Fantastic. We also have the link I've written here in the chat room, but if you've missed it by any chance, if you go to reawakenyourbrilliance.com and just click on tonight's date, there'll be a link to take you right to Jen's site. And thank you. It was a pleasure having you on again. Well, we'll have to do one on spiritual painting. I'm all fascinated by that now. I think that would be something really interesting that our viewers would love. So we'll have you on again, definitely.
Okay, Julie, it was wonderful talking to you, and congratulations again. And thank you to all of your viewers. It was great to be there with them as well.
All right, thanks, Jen. We'll talk to you soon. I want to remind everyone else, our next online class on Simplifying Your Life is coming up September 24th. You can find out more information at reawakenyourbrilliance.com, and we'll see you all here next week. Have a good one. Bye now.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, Sundays, 9 a.m. till noon. Carrie's Psychic Cafe with Carrie Silkowski, Sundays, 8 till 9 p.m. Health In with Debbie Bruck, Mondays, 11 a.m. till noon. Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Mondays, 1 till 2 p.m. Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members the second and fourth Wednesday of each month from 7:30 till 8:30 p.m. Reawaken Your Brilliance with Julie Seibert, Wednesdays, 9 till 10 p.m. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it at www.nissancommunications.com. Sponsored by ThatVidBlasterGuy.com, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.